Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stardom Review, a bi-weekly review where Andre and myself talk about the amazing all-women's Japanese wrestling company known as Stardom. I'm your co-host, Melball. Over there is Andre. Andre, how you doing today?
I am doing wonderfully. Got to watch some great Stardom over the last couple of days. Watched some Noah today. Some Pro Wrestling Noah. Their New Year card. It's January 1st as we record this. I watched their New Year a couple matches with the New Year card already, and that's been absolutely phenomenal. But we're here to talk about Stardom, and I think they've had one of the best shows that I've ever seen them produce, and probably one of the best shows overall that I've ever watched in professional wrestling.
I have to agree. I actually was featured on a show that our friend and your friend Ed did with an end of the year wrestling awards show. And I had seen this show. We recorded the same morning that the show we are going to talk about came out, the Queendom show. And man, I wish that I had waited to make my decisions on some things before going into that show. Thankfully, I did get to sneak some tidbits in there. You'll have to check it out to see what I talked about in there.
Yeah, I voted on a bunch of different customer podcasts, listen to and sites that follow on matches of the year because a lot of them get them done early December, so
Hmm
they
hmm
can put it up before the end of the year. And December 29th, man, I think it added another best. Like this, arguably is in my top three, if not top two matches
hmm
of the year. Um, it's gonna it's gonna take a lot for Okada and Osprey at G1 to be dethroned for me personally because of how much uh, that match means to me with how much I love Will Osprey.
hmm
But yeah, it could be number three, number two for me this year. Like overall, best women's match I've watched this year. And before that, I was saying Kyrie and Mayu was the best women's match I watched this year. And this main event, like absolutely
hmm
phenomenal. And we're gonna get into this, right?
Yes.
Time to get into this. It is Stardom Dream Queendom 2022. So we are going to start off with the Stardom Rumble match, and it's Stardom Rumble. It's a very Bushiroad kind of feel if you think about it. It's New Japan likes to do their rumbles at the start. Um, you have now these guys are tending to do more. It seems like not a little bit
hmm
interesting here, but we started out. You have Lady C and Waka Suka, and you have
Tsukiyama.
Siyama. I'm sorry. Rina, Hina, is it Saki? Uh, oh,
Saki, yeah.
Saki. Yeah, I was thinking. I was thinking of a way to tie Saki.
Kashima, you're thinking,
Saki
right?
Kashima. Saki, Tomoka, and Inaba. Yuna Mizumori, who I'm not super familiar with. I know she was working on some New Blood cards. Uh, Guki Gendesu instead of Fukigen Death. I guess this is her
Mhm.
non-evil clown version, I assume.
I mean, it
Um,
was still screaming death, so I don't
oh,
know.
I was just very confused. Miyu Emasaki, and then Kiku Taro.
Mm.
Um, this is the one part of the match that I really disliked. Is he was Kikutaro is not a family friendly character from everything I've seen this character do in the past. Um,
hmm
yeah, and I was very, and then he got very pervy in this match, and you could see the
hmm
girls like actively staying away from him, and I really was like,
It was cringe.
this
It
does
was borderline pedophilia uncomfortable.
it didn't need to be there. It really didn't.
No, no.
Yeah. And then you have Ram Kaichow entering the match.
hmm hmm
You got Stardom Super Strong Machine, who made her debut at the November 20th show. It was at least
hmm
the first time I seen her. And then you got Stardom Super Strong Giant Machine
hmm
entering the match. And then a bunch of eliminations. And it came down in the end to Stardom Super Strong Machine and Stardom Super Strong Giant Machine in
hmm
the end, and neither wanted to eliminate each other, so they're telling the ref to call them the co-winners. And at first he won't do it, but then he decides to change his mind. And just declares Strong Machines as the winners. So I was just like, okay, doesn't win it to a Rumble or Battle Royal that I've ever seen in my life.
It was a Yano Rumble with women. It is what it felt like. That kind of humor, that kind of goofiness.
Mm-hmm.
Very. I mean, it's fairly obvious who's under those masks, but I felt it was a lot of fun.
I could tell it was Lady C for the giant machine because how big was it? Lady C or who was it?
The little one?
No, the giant machine
Oh
was.
yeah, no, that's definitely Lady C. She posed exactly like Lady C.
Who was the other one? I'm not sure who that is.
You don't know who the little one is? She's one of your favorites.
It's not Saya.
Oh, it is. It's
Saya?
Saya Iida. Couldn't you see the purple sticking out of the back of her mask?
I didn't.
Yeah, her purple hair was coming out of the mask there.
Surprised me because she's already working on this show. So, yeah.
Yeah, same with Lady C in the same match.
Yeah, so.
And
yeah.
it is what it is. This is not something that we're not used to from Stardom, right?
Yes. Well, we're getting used to it now. So we move on to the pay-per-view proper, and it starts out with the high-speed title. I should change that banner. It's a high-speed title. It's Azumi defending her championship against Hikari Shimizu from Colors. And I didn't realize this until I saw the information packet. Azumi is only 20.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize how young she was. Like, she doesn't present like she's like again, like, but she seems so crisp and seems so good, like so established that I feel like she's older than that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This match I actually rewatched just about 20-30 minutes ago because I lost my notes for the first half because my computer broke. My computer broke on me, and I had to get a new laptop. And I recovered the notes, but only for the Rambo. And I had watched the first 3 matches when my computer broke. So, yeah, that was fun. Really great match. Both these women, super fast. The striking game is on point from both these women. They got buzzsaw kicks when they were just the straight kicks to them, kneeling. Oh, from both of them, crazy. There was a great leg trap release German by Azumi. Both hitting top rope double stomps, but I'll say that I put in quotation double stomp for Hikari because hers was like just clipping the edge of Azumi. It was just a little off, but yeah. In the end of the match, Azumi ends up getting the ring to Saturn, then turns it into pulling an arm bar, like puts the leg around and like torques the arm with the arm bar at the same time and gets the submission victory over Hikari. Shimizu, and Azumi retains the high-speed title.
And like Azumi really setting up throughout that match for that submission at the end. They're targeting the arms of Hikari quite a bit throughout the match. She was kicking the arms out while she was down, jumping on them, really working on them with various submissions throughout the match. Hikari, though, really fought back with the kicks, really did her best to try to keep Azumi at length. But as you said, this high speed of this match was just absolutely incredible. I believe Azumi was wearing her white and purple gear for this match.
Yes,
right?
I think so.
That the unique design of the neck line and the straps around the neckline is one of my favorite designs that Azumi has. That's very, very unique to her within Stardom. There were so many near falls at the end of this match. It was like I was on the edge of my seat going, oh my God, 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 every couple of minutes. It was absolutely incredible. But yeah, that's all I got to say about this. This was a fun one. I mean, Azumi, one of my personal favorites. She can really do no wrong.
Yeah, a great way. It's like if you hadn't seen the Rambo and you're just tuning in for I guess the Rambo was part of the pay-per-view, but this was the first like official pay-per-view match. Technically the other one was pre-show, but absolutely great way to kick a show off. So we move on to the next match of the evening. We'll go with third match of the evening, and it is the pre-Triangle Derby match. So this is a preview for the Triangle Derby that is coming up starting January 3rd, the day the show drops. So the first show should be out on Stardom-World on January 6th, and we're going to try to cover as much as we can, but lots of stuff going on right now. Another tournament. We'll cover matches where we can. May not get to everything like we did with the tag league
Similar
and
to
the
the
5-star.
goddess.
We'll try our best on this one. But yeah, it's stars versus stars in this one. Hazuki, Koguma, and Iida taking on Hanan, Mayu Iwatani, and Momo Kohgo. I love the start of this where Koguma does the dancing with each member until she gets to Momo. Kohgo does the dance with her, but then as Momo just continues to dance, she just walks away, tags in Hazuki. Hazuki just walks up and just smacks Momo across the face, like just unloads, and then just runs into her with a boot and the ropes. Like, dude, so good. Like it's just the
I wrote
viciousness
down
of.
that's cruel.
Yeah, very much.
Cruel.
It was vicious as heck. There was a spot where Hazuki had the camel clutch on Momo, and they did the sandwich drop kicks, and then Hazuki followed it up with the senton, and I'm like, oh, damn it, like just beating up on this girl. But yeah, great overall match. There was a great spot. There was a Hanan in the ring, and she gets a flying arm bar. I can't remember. I think it was on Hazuki. I think, but just the way she does that flying armbar, the smoothness of it, I absolutely found phenomenal. There's another spot where Iida was up on the rope going to do the hanging rear naked choke to Mayu, but Momo coming in and 619ing her, kicking her in the leg off of the second rope to the floor was absolutely phenomenal. But in the end, Mayu Iwatani hit the top rope frog splash on Iida, only got it, like she kicked out at 2.9, right at that last possible millisecond. And then Mayu hit the bridging dragon suplex, gets the win on Iida, and giving her team the win in this preview. Absolutely phenomenal 6-woman match.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The spots at the beginning there, I also had noted with Koguma and the bear ears and the cruelty of the trickery with Hazuki and Koguma there. I really felt that Hanan was able to get some payback. I think that was the armbar that you were talking about when she did get in against Hazuki. I really felt that the time that Iida and Mayu were in the ring together was very, very heavy hitting. Really showed off both of their physical strengths, which Mayu isn't always known for showing off. Right, she's used to doing
No.
that reckless disregard for her own personal safety. So it was nice to see her do a little something different with Iida there. But yeah, that's all I got to say on this one. This one was a very fun match.
Yeah, I had a great time. I had so much fun with this match. And move on to the next match of the evening. It's the return of one Mina Shirakawa and her partner Unagi Sayaka taking on Mai Sakurai and Thekla. So a big point to me in this match was Mina Shirakawa's entrance, where you had Thekla and Mai Sakurai coming out together. Then you had Unagi coming out doing her own entrance, and then Mina Shirakawa made her way out with two brand new additions to Stardom in Mariah May and former NXT UK wrestler Zaya Brookside, the daughter of Robbie Brookside. And they came out with her, did a pose with her, and then she went in and wrestled the match. So we'll get to the match first, and we'll speak about what happened after. But awesome match. Mina has a new attitude about her. I will say that 100% in here. She's getting pretty vicious, and that spitting back fist seems to be like her best friend. She just kept going for it in this match. Thekla looking just phenomenal in this. Like I since the Stardom Tag League, I've been just a huge fan of Thekla. Like you were right. You and Cody both telling me you're going to be a huge fan of Thekla. I'm like, I hope so. And then yeah, she like so much good stuff.
Gotta
The
trust
spinning,
your friends, my dude.
yeah,
Gotta trust your friends.
yeah, and just there was a great Thekla getting a really great Moodle lock on Mina, but just to smooth it, how good she does that Moodle lock. I love every time. And then Mina right after getting a huge caught a kick from Mai like a little bit later, and just from the caught foot just spins and cracks her with that spinning back fist. I thought it was over right there. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like really
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal match. Thekla reversing a reverse inverted bloody Sunday, getting a European clutch on Mina. Really, really great spot. Mina and Unagi getting that gory special bulldog combo. That I was like, oh, I've never actually seen, like, I've never really seen it because like you didn't get to see them work together in the tag league,
Mm-hmm.
and I really really liked that. I really thought that was a great little combo move there, and
Mm-hmm.
Waka Tsukiyama was in their corner too because
Mm-hmm.
being she's
Mm-hmm.
involved with both of these women, it
Mm-hmm.
was interesting to see her there.
She is still part of Cosmic Angels for at least the next 3 months until her progressive period is over, at which point
Yeah, but
she may be
it was
kicked
just
out.
nice to see Waka there with
Mm-hmm.
kind of support, especially with Unagi, who she just spent an entire tag league and being with the person that she ended up replacing in that tag league. I really liked that. I liked seeing that bit of
Mm-hmm.
camaraderie there. In
Mm-hmm.
the end, uh, Mina gets a running insecurity to Thekla, then she hits what is called the glamorous driver, which is
Mm-hmm.
essentially like a sit out inverted bloody Sunday, and
Mm-hmm.
gets the win. Absolutely phenomenal match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, the spinning backstrike I actually had was a Kenta level damage. Kenta also really likes that spinning back hit, and
Mm-hmm.
she lands it as accurately as he does. Um, I felt Unagi made a great comeback at one point of the match after Mina was getting her face beat on quite a bit. Thekla and Mai were very smart targeting the face of Mina throughout the match, and Thekla always over animated. I absolutely love it. Really making almost like a joke, or not really a joke of it, but like bringing out former emotions as Mina and her had feuded earlier in the year. Yeah, this match, wow. I really enjoyed this one, but the ending I think is what shocked me the most. As after the match,
Yeah.
Mina starts her promo in Japanese, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to look for the translation of this later. And she surprises me by suddenly switching over and introducing her and Brookside and May in English.
Yeah, so
And
it's kind of where she started in Japanese, and then she yelled, "It's game over" to Inagi, and then she started attacking her, like she
mhm,
started beating on her a bit, and then she went back and went into an English promo. I've got it written out here. If you want me to read it, otherwise, unless you got it.
go for it.
Yeah, so it says, change, change, change. Introducing my new friends, the Angel of the Ring, Zaya Brookside, and the Fighting Princess, Mariah May. And she is the Venus, Mina Shirakawa, and they are Club Venus. And this is where they cut to Unagi up on the stage, and she's literally crying because she's just hurt. Like she's like heartbroken that Mina like kind of like
Mhm,
broke up with her. Like it was really like but it's I am so happy to see this because I'm a big fan of Zaya Brookside. Her time in
mhm,
NXT UK was absolutely phenomenal. I'm not super familiar with Mariah May, but from everything I've read and heard about her since this happened, um, I I'm, I think we're getting nothing but good here. But yeah,
mhm.
and then but actually, when Mina walked up onto the stage, they ended up kind of hugging them, or like they kind of put their heads together, and then Unagi walked off crying. But yeah,
Yeah, and then I think they proceeded to beat the crap out of each other in the backstage comments afterwards. So this is a roller coaster relationship. We don't really know what's going on between these two at the end of the day, except for we know that Club Venus is there and most likely going to probably be a very good avenue to introduce um, the Stardom roster potentially to a North American. Um,
mm-hmm.
Audiences, as Mina did mention a little while back that she was interested in doing a North American tour. With her and Waka having just done, I believe it was the 44 Street Rumble thing, the one.
Yeah, I think it was her and Waka against uh, she just went to NXT.
What matters is
Kylie
Nina is
Ray and
the
a
one who
partner.
is
Yeah,
there,
like
and that she's the one who's
yeah.
gonna potentially be that door opener. I'm totally for it. It sucks to see the Cosmic Angels essentially dissolving in
Well,
front of us,
Mina
but
did say in the backstage that she is still part of Cosmic Angels. Just Zaya and Mariah are not their part, but they're kind of as their own separate group as Club Venus. But she did specifically say in a backstage promo she is still part of Cosmic Angels.
that sounds like a marketing nightmare.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Anything else on this one?
No, no, I'm good for this one.
Yeah. So we move on to the next match of the evening, and it is a three-way tag for the number one contendership to the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championships. It's BMI
Mm.
2000. Natsuko Tora and Waka, My Hemis, Himeka and Maika, and the new eras Amy Sohrei and Mirai. Like, this is exactly the way a three-way tag should work. All three, at the start of the match, there was three people in the ring. Not
Mm.
WWE America style, where there's only two people in the ring. You tag any team in. I hate that. Like, why would you tag any other team other than your partner? Like, I don't like those. And it's just, I like the way they did this. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Like, this is, again, very much a match where Waka and Tora did use a lot of their power in this one, but you could see sometimes, especially going up against like Himeka and Amy, power didn't work so as well as usual.
Mhm.
Like it was an interesting way to kind of do everything. It's a great sequence. Amy hits a Green Bay Ami hits a Green Bay plunge. Mike on Maika, and then Mirai climbs, but Maika ends up attacking her. And it's I'm sorry, and then Himeka tries for that Tower of Doom spot, and Tora attack, just breaking up the Tower of Doom, just purely simple. You know what I mean? Like just a little simple spot like that. I'm like, I really like the way that she broke it up there. Um, just, there was so much just pandemonium in this match. There was points where uh, the rest of Oedo Tai were getting involved. Yeah. Um, I'm just gonna go to the end here. I'll let Mel go talk on anything else. Himeka and Maika plant Tora with a clothesline or like with a slam, and then Maika hits the Michinoku driver on Ruaka, and they get the win. And My Hemi is now the number one contenders for the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team titles.
It was very interesting this match because this was like literally what, two, four, six of the eight most strongest, like most powerful women in this company involved in one match. The other two being obviously Nane Takahashi and Yu, who are going to be fighting in their own match. We're going to talk about later. Um, what I did you notice at the beginning there with that you mentioned with all like one member from each team being in there? Do you notice
Mm-hmm.
Ruaka working with whoever possible. She did not care who
Mm-hmm.
she was working with, as long as she was not on the receiving end of the move. She was working with she was working with Emeka. She didn't care. I thought it was really cute, but I also thought it was like a little bit of a comedy spot, but also really, really smart
Mm-hmm.
because again, you're not on the receiving end of the move. You're saving your body by just randomly switching sides randomly and being like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna suddenly work against Ami instead. No, this is good. Really,
Yeah,
really
I
fun
like.
there.
I like that it was like everybody seemed to team with somebody different. It was
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
didn't matter who you were in there with. It's like I'm just gonna be your partner because we can beat up the other person. It's
Yeah.
like
The
I
enemy
really
of
did
my
like that.
enemy will always be my friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Himeka, I felt though a little bit more feistier than we're used to seeing her. I feel she was putting that little extra umph into everything, and I feel it came across as this adorable aggression. I don't know if that's like two words that should really be put together, but it was like she's so pretty when she's just lariating your head off, you know. Um,
I don't
other
think
than
she looks so pretty to her opponents who she's lariating the head off of, but
I mean, I'm sure right before it happens, that's one of the things. Gosh, she's so pretty up close. Huh. But yeah, you were absolutely right though. Team BMI 2000 struggled a little bit more with these with this match just because of I think the just pure volume of power that was coming up against them. Maika, my personal girl crush. Again, we've seen her go toe to toe with Tanahashi. You don't come out of a match against the Ace not being a little bit stronger. But yeah, this match was a lot of fun and as crazy as I expected it to be.
I love the story that was told though, with them like getting to pin Ruaka with this, because you got to remember,
Mhm,
was it the last show we did? They were literally being called out by BMI 2000 saying they couldn't beat them. There was no way you can beat us. You're losing this
mhm,
match, and
mhm,
to them show it up and pin Ruaka in it, I think was just a perfect
mhm,
example, just to show them. I love seeing that evolution, seeing them being able to, like, we're better than you, we're pinning you guys, and we're getting
mhm,
this win, and we're going to and getting and becoming that number one contender team. I think it was just a great story there to see them
mhm,
really fight out of this, right, to get that.
mhm, mhm. Yes,
So
very, very good match.
we're going to move on to the next match of the evening, and it's a special singles match between
Ooh.
Kairi and Utami Hayashishita, and the loser has to go back to the rookie gear. No music, no entrance video, just walk out to the ring, get in the ring, and if if Tommy loses and has to do this, she would no longer be the leader of Queen's Quest because she would have to give up that title. And if Kairi loses, she has to relinquish the IWGP title because as a rookie, you can't be the champion. Like, you have to go back to square one. This is all but everything is back to square one. So
Mhm,
this, when I watched this match, this became right here match of the night, like,
mhm,
or so far on this card became match of the
mhm,
night for
mhm,
me up to this point, because these two, like, I like watching Kyrie and Mayu back on November 20th, absolutely phenomenal. And I knew what to expect from Kyrie. I know what to expect from Itami, but when they you put these two together, and the story of this is Kyrie left Stardom in 2017 just as Utami was coming in, so it's kind of like your one of your pillars from the older days that really saved Stardom. She was one. Kyrie was one of the pillars, taking on one of the new pillars of Stardom, like another one of the women that's really the top, one of those top pillars for this company now. And I really like that story, and seeing them face off. And
mhm.
I'm gonna give the ending first. In the end, at the end of this match, Utami hits the hijack bomb. Kyrie rolls to the apron. It's just like she's just like Tommy's reaching, but like Kyrie's just out of reach for the pin as she gets on
Mhm.
just under the rope, and Kyrie ends up getting like a hot shot stunner and goes up to hit the insane elbow here, and hits the insane elbow, but the time limit goes at 15 minutes just as she's going for the pin. Like, it
Mhm.
was a very, like, you're like, oh, but I don't think there was any other finish to this match that you could do without really messing a character up in a sense.
Mhm.
But
No, I
like,
agree.
some of the stuff they were doing, like, there's one really weird spot where Kyrie put a Tommy against the rope. She goes running at her, and then one of the members of Queen Quest just gets in the way, like stops her from running,
Oh
splashing her
yeah.
on their. I was very confused by that, like, very. Utami, when she put the rear naked choke on and started spinning with Kyrie in the rear
Yeah.
naked choke, holy crap, that was, like, I loved it. I absolutely loved that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then Kyrie slipping out of his spinning out of the hijack bomb and just cracking her with a spinning back fist. Just,
Mhm.
just how these two flowed so well was absolutely phenomenal. And then post match, when they were like face to face with each other, like, Tommy's eyes were not on Kyrie. She was staring at the belt the whole time, just looking at that title, because she was just
Mhm.
like she was like in a trance looking at that belt.
Mhm. Mhm. And how can you not be? I mean, that's it's going to be on the Red Queen's list of things to do by the end of the year, I'm
Hmm,
sure.
probably.
Yeah, that spinning sleeper hold, I don't recall actually seeing her do that before, except for the night before on the 24th when it was a faction battle, Stars versus Queen's Quest, where she actually was doing it on Mayu Iwatani, while dressed up in a reindeer onesie. On the outside, while Lady C was doing the same thing to, I believe it was Saya Iida on the inside. Very, very interesting, unique move. It certainly would wear you down, and sink that sleeper in a lot tighter, I would assume. We've discussed this move before. Is it the white noise that she does, that running cross-legged
Yeah,
white noise? Very
it's a
similar to.
white noise, air raid crash, whatever you want to call it. It's that's what it
Yeah,
is. Like
yeah.
that's what the white noise is an air raid crash. But yeah.
Yeah. These girls were just hitting each other with everything they had. They did not want to go back to that beginning, humble beginning roots kind of thing. There was one point where Tommy did a judo toss, but it was not like any other judo toss I've seen. Usually, like they're walking towards her and she takes them and she flips them and they land on the back. Kyrie was actually stumbling backwards. She actually grabs her and whips her over backwards, and Kyrie ended up landing on her face. I thought that looked
Oh,
really, really
that
crisp,
when I
really
saw that
good.
I all I could think of was actually Brian Kendrick, because that's how he used
Mm,
to grab somebody and flip them over to put on the captain's hook, where he would flip a guy
mm-hmm.
over and then pull the bulldog choke.
Yeah.
He called it the captain's hook. That's exactly how he would set it up. He would grab somebody from behind, and then flip them like she did.
Well, given
That's
the
what I
name,
thought.
clearly
Yeah.
the wrong person did the move. Ah, there was also that crazy submission. I don't even know how. I'm not very good with the names of these submissions, but there was a submission that Utami managed to get onto Kyrie. Um,
Oh.
that Kyrie really had to fight really, really hard to get out of. Crawled very, very desperately. She had it sunk in on her in a very, very long time. For the match. Yeah, that was right before the finish. Really, really good match. I agree. This pretty much was match of the night for me at
Up
this
to this
point in
point.
time.
Yeah, that was
At this
it. Where
point.
she hit her with like a hammerlock DDT, but then like kept the hammerlock on and kept the choke in. I
Yeah.
think yeah, that would and like even Kyrie was just they did the arm spot where like she keeps her arm up on the third drop. Like just it was such great selling from both of these women
Mhm.
through the entire match because it sucked you in. It just made you care so much.
Mhm. Mhm. Agreed.
So we're gonna move on to the next match of the evening. It's for the artist of Stardom titles, and it's a hardcore match, and it's
Mhm.
featuring the defending champions Oedo Tais, Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, and Starlight Kid taking on Hiragi Kurumi, Risa Sera, and Suzu Suzuki. Like, how do I say this? This was a crazy match, like
Yeah.
crazy, but
This was the
it
most
wasn't death match
tolerable
crazy.
hardcore match I've ever watched in my life.
I was I I was surprised there was no blood. I went into
Mm.
this
Yeah.
expecting to see like, and I'm not a big blood in professional wrestling,
Mhm.
but you have prominence. You have Suzu Suzuki, you have Risa Sera, you have Hiragi. They're all deathmatch people. They all wrestle in companies and do death matches and bleed. I would have been okay with blood in this for just for what it would represent to this match, but they
Mhm.
didn't. Which
Mhm.
was even you. I think you and me. You even said something about we're gonna see their faces covered in something that won't be paint this time.
Mhm.
No.
I'm happy for it.
Oh, me too.
I'm happy for it. I'm not a blood person at all.
And the other thing, it just like earlier with Azumi, Suzuki's only 20. That boggles my fucking mind.
And that she's considered a deathmatch specialist
Yeah,
at 20.
yeah,
That's another just crazy fact.
yeah.
Yeah, was I the only one thinking in my head when Starlight Kid was making her entrance though, singing the like Wicked Witch of the West theme? You know, as she's
Yeah.
just driving down the ramp on her little bike with the little basket on the right.
Little bike. That bike looked huge. That bike looked huge. Jesus, especially next to Starlight Kid. But yeah,
Yeah, that bike was huge.
there was literally a spot where Starlight Kid rode a bike over top of the three members of Prominence, and
Hmm.
she went
Right
down
at
the
the
ramp
very end.
and literally drove over them. Like
Hmm.
what the fuck? Like Jesus. There was a
Hmm.
baseball bat spot where where was it Momo had the the barbed wire baseball bat. Risa Sarah had the kendo sticks, and they started lightsaber fighting with them. And then Risa Sarah ended up taking the barbed wire bat to the chest. So the fact there was no blood there, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
But you
Jesus.
know
But
that chest, like the top that she's wearing, the thickness on that is really really like it looks like a really good quality fabric. I
mhm.
was very concerned about her abdomen. If any of the spikes from that barbed wire had, like punctured her abdomen, that would be very uncomfortable to work with for the rest of the with the match for sure. Um, there was at one point that Momo was treating Kurumi like a pinata, putting the trash can on her head, Io Shirai kind of way,
Oh,
and like
cracked it with the
smashing
bat.
it. Yeah,
Ooh,
and like the
yeah,
bruise that ended up on Kurumi's arm because of that yautja.
yeah.
Um, Also, they put Saki Kashima, sorry, through a table, which shocked me.
Didn't
She's
for
very
me.
tiny too. I honestly thought that the match was done at that point, and it kept going.
This like, not that it was bad long, but it was almost 16 minutes, and
Mhm,
in reality, with some of the shit they were doing, they could have shaved off a little. Suzuki hitting that headbutt to Starlight Kid on the like, she had just cracked her. There wasn't like protecting headbutt. She cracked her in the head.
mhm.
Oh, dude, just there was some crazy shit in this match. Like, but
Mhm.
there was it. Risa brought down that giant sign.
Giant fan.
And did she just smacked Saki and Momo with it? It looked hilarious. It was just like it looked like she was just carrying a giant hammer or something like comical
Mhm,
like that.
mhm.
Just smacked them both up with that.
What's hilarious is her trying to pose with it with their intro. And then she kept dropping it and she was getting frustrated because she couldn't move because of that cool mask that she had on.
Hmm.
So she's sitting there like, what the frick? Getting mad because Suzu and Kurumi are just sitting there like, yeah, you wanted it. You
Yeah,
brought it down.
yeah. I thought it was over when actually when Saki Kishima got that surprise crucifix that she does.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was over there, and she only got two. And then so Hiragi had been setting up a bunch of chairs on the outside, and then they go to the ring and they're showing the outside, and then it cuts into the ring for whatever Suzuki and Saki are doing, and all you hear is a crashing of chairs,
Mm-hmm.
and the camera cuts to everybody laid out, people laid out on the floor, and I'm like, you really missed that spot? Oh my god! But then it goes back to the ring. Uh, Saki tries to roll up Suzuki, but Risa Sarah ended up
Mm-hmm.
stopping it with the kendo stick, and Suzuki hit as the name I know it from years ago in Impact, the Rolling Chaos Theory, with a bridge pin, get the win. This is essentially German suplex, roll through into a bridging
Mm-hmm.
German suplex, and they get the win. New champs, prominence are your Artists of Stardom champions. After the match, they gave the blue belt to Risa Sarah, which matched her outfit. They gave the orange belt to Suzuki, which kind of matched her outfit because she had orange, like looked like a reddish orange in her
She looks like fire, yeah.
But then you gave the pink belt to Hiragi, and it just didn't match her gear.
Let's be honest, I don't think that any member in prominence would match the pink belt. But thank goodness that they actually have some gold in their faction now. I felt that this championship win was definitely well deserved from this trio. Been waiting for Suzuki to win something. Same with Risa Sera. I feel that this was the perfect opportunity for all three women.
Oh, for sure. And
Mhm.
I think there's a real push. Like, I think this company wants to sign Suzuki. I really think they do. Like, to more of a full time contract rather than her just working
Yeah.
as a freelancer.
Three more matches, my friends. Three
We are
more
we are
matches.
moving on to the third from the main event. It is the Goddess of Stardom tag team titles. It is Meltears, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano taking on 7-Ups, Nane, and you. Man. This was a match of Natsupoi and Tam Nakano getting the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
like
only one word to describe this match, and that was dominated.
I have dominance literally written
Yeah,
down. Dominance, like
yeah.
it,
Any
like
any way of the word, as long as it's referring to Nane and you in a positive fashion, because we don't need them killing us.
I really did like watch. I sometimes I get really annoyed when you have really small people really working with bigger people and kicking out from big moves. But I think the story of this match, seeing what they were doing, it, it really worked and told this like
Hmm.
great story of the resilience of Natsuko and Tam Nakano to really be able to
Hmm.
kick a lot of what they were doing. And like there is so much in this match, like so much. There's a great spot where they got Tam and Nat sitting in the corner, and you hits her cannonball to both of them in the corner. Oh,
Yeah.
she looked like she killed them. But yeah, in the end, you have you hitting the last ride power bomb, getting the stack pin, and getting the win. 7 Up are your
Hmm.
new tag or goddess of
Hmm.
Stardom champions.
Yeah, this match was absolutely dominating. They you're absolutely right. They got worked over. They did do their absolute best though. Fighting with everything they had, throwing everything they had, kicking out with what
Mm.
little energy they had left. But I mean, you just got the absolute power and experience of both Nane and you. There was one point, remember, where you was on the outside, Natsupoi doing the crossbody dive, not having enough to get you over. Tam having to dive on top of Natsupoi to actually finally get you over with that crossbody dive. It
Oh,
just
from to the dive to the outside.
yeah, it just so powerful, both you and Nane. Um, yeah, I don't have. I mean, what else can you say? This was just a beatdown. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a pretty brutal beatdown of both these girls, but it 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 worked for
Hmm.
you know what I mean. It worked. That's the main thing is that it worked,
Hmm.
and that's what really mattered. And I don't think there's this picture here, is there? Oh, there is. Kate, on my little thing, there wasn't a picture showing up. After the match, you had my Hemi coming out and essentially making their official challenge for. Sorry, I should have had that banner up for the titles. So, like, I can't wait for this tag match. I think it's gonna be absolutely phenomenal.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And Micah, did you see how just defiant she was coming
Hmm.
out there to do this with him? And Himeka's always going to be cute. I feel like when she turns it on, she turns it on. But Himeka always still has that, you know, area of cuteness on her. Micah was turned up for this. She was ready to go then and there. Very, very excited, like you are, to see this.
Yeah, this is probably the number two match on this card before the show that I was
Mm,
most looking forward to watching because you know how I felt with watching 7 Up throughout the God saga. I
mm-hmm,
was really enjoying them, and
mm-hmm,
then I'm a huge fan of Melt here, and I was real. This is probably like my number two match after the main event that I was looking forward to going into the show.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So we move on to the next match of the show, and or the semi main event, and it's for the Wonder of Stardom title match.
mm-hmm,
Sama Kamatani defending her championship against Haruka Umasaki from Pro Wrestling Diana. Actually, is where she's from. I was listening to
mm-hmm.
Post Wrestling's Japanese wrap up or their year end Japanese wrap up, and shout out to Karen Peterson for giving me some information when she was talking about this match. She described her kind of as the young ace of Diana promotion. Essentially, your Okada, your something like that.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like she's the champion there. She's like a younger presence, but she's kind of that person who's like that lead, who's that you could put. She's that best person in the company kind of deal. Like essentially
Mhm,
like Okada ish in that sense. For the company, I'm saying in ring wise, but for the company, that Okada ish feeling. But man, I've only seen Haruka on a couple of New Blood cards. That's all she's been in so far for this company, and I really thought they did such a great job here.
mhm,
Um, there was a spot where Saya snapmared Haruka off the top rope to the apron, and she ended up going back first into the corner of the apron. That looked
Mm-hmm.
just a little rope. That looked gross.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then Saya proceeded to a flip neck breaker off the apron, but I think Saya over rotated and ended up landing on her feet. And it was just the weirdest looking move. It was almost like she just ended up like hitting her, like doing like sentoning her and like landing on her feet.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell she was going for the neck breaker, but it just looked really odd.
That's
Really great.
Kamitani though, that over animation she has.
Haruka getting the figure four on Sai at one point, and but like
Mm-hmm.
Saya really selling in that figure four. Really good. And then Haruka right after wrapped the legs in the ropes and then pulls on it and like uses the 5 count and then running drop
Mm-hmm.
kicks it in the ropes. Like it's a little bit vicious, this girl. Like she's gonna take advantage. Haruka hitting a beautiful missile drop kick off the top. Like this girl, like I can see why the description was Ace of Diana. I can the young ace. I can see that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I ended up flipping out of a German and then hitting a double stomp because like Haruka went for the German, like fell to her back, but Saya lands on her feet and just jumps on her and double stomps her. It was great. Then just and then pulled her to the corner. She went up, but Haruka cut her off. And this is another one where she just cracked her head with a headbutt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like ugh, and got this like she crossed the arms and did like cross the arms in front of her, and then did the superplex. It wasn't even like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't straight track style. It was just like she crossed the arms like this in front of her and did the suplex. It was like that was weird, but I really liked it. I'm gonna move to the end of the match here. Star Crusher by Saya Kamitani here only gets two. She goes up to the top, goes for the Firebird Splash, misses it. Haruka rolls her up, but she kicks out at two, and this is where Saya Kamitani hits the Frankensteiner. Frankensteiner gets the pin, and like Haruka kicked out of the pin, but just after the 3 count, like that's three
Mm-hmm.
hit, and then you see Haruka just as the three hits, she's like, ugh, right? But she was just that millisecond too late, and Saya Kamitani keeps the belt. But I think like in all of this, it makes me a huge fan of Haruka. I'm still a huge fan of Saya Kamitani, but I want to see more from Haruka, and she's going to be in the Triangle Derby, teaming with Oedo Tai.
I was gonna say, I feel like she was coming out affiliated with Oedo Tai, which is interesting because like her
Starlight Kid was at
outfit and the
ringside.
way she aesthetically appears would suggest that she's a face. But we all know that the Oedo Tai are very much so far from that. So that's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have much more to add to this match except for the way that they almost kind of felt that they were wrestling was like each one was trying to one up the other one, almost having an anything you can do, I can do better kind of match. And
Mhm.
those tend to be some of my favorite kind of matches because that means that each person is working super duper hard to impress that audience and earn those fans. And I live for it.
Because I know there's been a backstory of Saya Kamitani being kind of worried about hurting people since she broke Mina Shirakawa's jaw back in
I mean,
November.
fair.
Like, but again, real life they kind of put in, but it looked like kind of this match here, her kind of taking that step of I'm moving past that. But after the
Mhm.
match, I'm pretty sure she called out Mina because I heard her saying Mina.
Yeah, Mina came out afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, but she said Mina. Mina comes out, but not from the entrance ramp. Came from the like other side,
Hmm.
and they so like she says something to her. Mina is just turning around and walking away, walking to the back of the back to the back part of the arena again.
Hmm.
And this is where Amy Sarik. But from what I found out, Sai Kamatani did say, uh, have a few more matches, get ready, and then we'll have another tag. Then we're gonna have another match.
Hmm.
Essentially, what she told her. She said, once you're ready to go, once you're ready to face me, essentially telling her to have a few more matches, then we'll have a match for the title. And then Amy Saray comes out, the current future of Stardom champion, to face off and challenges Sakai Tani, looking like she's the next challenger for the belt at some point here in the next couple of months.
Hmm.
Because I know the next
Hmm.
big show isn't until April, so I don't see them holding off that long up for the Amy Saray match. So I think we're going to get something in the next month or so.
Most likely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And the feud between Saya and Ami has been kind of going on since the what is it? What was the tournament we saw before the Goddess of Stardom? The one that Giulia won.
it's 5-star.
Yeah. We saw them start having issues in their match in that 5 star tournament there. So I'm interested to see how these two go again.
Yeah. Oh, and I got a picture there of when Amy and Sai were in the
I
ring
mean, that's
together.
what you got to do to be eye to eye with Ami Sorry there.
Yeah, I guess I should have had the banner for the Goddess tag title match the entire time through. Just talking about the Wonder Stardom title match. Not good at doing these banners. I really suck at them.
Hey, learning curve, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to the main event of the evening. It is the World of Stardom Championship. A lot of people call it the Red Belt. You have Syuri, the champion, defending against Giulia. Like Julia's new gear looks absolutely fire. I and then Syuri's gear looked phenomenal. The color scheme on it looked phenomenal. But I noticed
Hmm.
Syuri is really taped up, like all across the back of the top.
Upper and lower back, yeah.
Her knee was taped up. Yeah, her lower back was taped up. Man, and then I
Hmm.
was also wondering what happened to the girl ring announcer because they brought a dude in to do the announcements. I was like, no, we keep the
They had
girl. I
two.
like her. No, but I like the
They had
girl
two
better.
girl announcers in the beginning half of the
Yeah,
show.
but where did the girls go? I preferred them over this dude. I liked
It's
hearing
like NKPW with their refs. You get red shoes only at the main event, so you get the main guy at the main event.
I don't like it. The girls. Now this arguably is like I said in my top three, possibly top two matches of this year. I don't know if it could surpass Okada and Osprey for personal reasons. How much I love Osprey. Um, But dude, this was insane. There was a back body drop off the ramp. The ramp wasn't that high, but it went into actual chairs, not just like folding chairs, into the
Mhm.
chairs that people were sitting on. These were like chairs you would see in like a community hall that they stack up before like they get put away.
The
Like
nice plastic ones with the metal frames.
solid
Hmm.
chairs, not like your folding chair is gonna break when you fall on it. And then
Hmm.
Pile drove Giulia through the table, stealing Julia's pile driving people through the table spot.
Insult to injury, right?
Yeah. There is so much. I have probably 2 or 3 pages worth of notes here. Dude, there is the knees, the just all the crazy stuff they were doing in this, and they like in the last like 5 minutes of this match, they were trading so many different moves, and like,
Hmm.
Giulia hit Himeka's running power bomb. Um, she hit one of Maika's moves too. She hit her glorious driver,
Hmm.
win with that. So the move she hit in the end was actually a brand new move for her. Like Syuri going for that one wing angel driver that she does, where she like
Hmm.
brings her down, but like slams her down like into an emerald flosion. Dude, like I love that. Like just everything they were doing in this. Like I can't. It's hard to explain such a great match and go over every move they do because they did so much and but it's how they told the story of this match and how they like both women just not willing to concede. This match came down to the end. uh Giulia hit a pump handle backdrop to Syuri. They exchanged strikes and Giulia hit an Emerald Flosion, which is one of Suri's moves, then picks her up and hits what was identified as a Northern Lights bomb, where she kept driving her down to the left side of her. Um, but Giulia did make a post online showing her essentially going through the move, like 3 different pictures. And if you translate it to English, and in it, there was written in English the word vermilion. And it did say her entire tweet, if translated, says "Final Secret Vermilion." So I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think her new move is called Vermilion. I'm going to assume because it was in Japanese, and then right beside the word in Japanese, in English, it said Vermilion. It was showing the picture of the move being done.
Interesting.
I'm not sure, but I think that's what it's called because they identified it as a Northern Lights bomb in the match itself.
Mm-hmm.
But Syuri picks up Giulia picks up the victory on Syuri, and this was probably one of the most emotional post matches I've ever seen. But do you want to give your any thoughts on the match before we get into the
Oh,
post?
this match was just emotionally charged from start to
Mm-hmm.
finish. These girls just beat the holy hecking heck out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
I actually messaged somebody and said, "Holy Hannah Montana, I don't know what I'm watching, but these girls are beating the holy hecky crap out of each other."
Mm-hmm.
Um, this match was insane, absolutely insane. This was a perfect way to end a show for me. This was a perfect main event for me. It had the story, it had the emotion, it had the performability, it had the outside stuff, it had the inside stuff, it had, move stealing, it had a little bit of everything. And you're absolutely right, their gear, it just peaked everything off. The fur for Giulia giving me very much like
On the
beast
armband,
mode
yeah,
vibes.
I loved it.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. This was a perfect way to end the show.
Like, as much as we describe certain stuff that happened in this match, you need to watch this. This was 29 minutes 51 seconds, but it didn't feel that long to me. It felt like it didn't feel like a long match because this like
Mm-mm,
and this isn't a shot at Okada or anybody in New Japan, but I find when you watch an Okada main event, if it's going like 30 minutes, you get a lot of plotting in those first 15 to 20, and then it
mm-hmm,
picked up for the last 10. This picked up from the beginning, and these two
mm-hmm.
never stopped. This had a 30-minute time limit. Giulia pinned her at 29:51. That that's it.
Yes.
That's like that's some timing right there to finish it right where
Mhm,
they are. But yeah, after the
mhm,
match, all of Don Demundo gets in the ring to check on Giulia. All of God's is in there checking on Syuri, and then the the Giulia and Syuri grasping onto each other and holding hands, and then
mhm,
like putting their heads together. Like they broke up. The team broke up. Syuri left her,
mhm,
and, but you can see that they kind of like this match almost kind of in a way healed it in a sense because they're still on opposite sides, but
mhm,
it's just the way. And then the picture there, Syuri putting the belt on Giulia, I think was like a huge because like the ref or Ogawa, Rossy Ogawa put it on her shoulder, but this where Syuri got up, she raised her hand, then she put the belt around her waist and then raised her hand, like
mhm,
Giulia is literally crying there because the
mhm,
emotion of this, it was crazy, like
mhm, mhm.
absolutely phenomenal. Giulia made a speech after the match. I don't know what was said. I don't speak Japanese yet. Yet,
We'll get there.
I plan to be speaking Japanese in 2 years' time when I plan to be in Japan for the December 29th, 2024 show.
Mr. Bobblehead.
I plan to be there. So for the show in 2 years, the show in 2 years. So, but yeah, and this spot of Donna D'Amato holding her up on the ramp just makes my heart swell.
Mhm,
I gotta give a little bit of information here. Giulia becomes the fourth person ever to win both the red and white belts in Stardom. There's only been three others. The other three are Io Shirai, Kairi Hojo, and Mayu Iwatani. The three pillars
mhm,
of Stardom. She
mhm.
joins an elite club there of people holding both those belts. So, and
Very
then
cool.
yeah, after the match in the backstage press conference, Syuri, Syuri was it Syuri. I can't remember. One of the two of them calls out. Uh, Syuri calls out Chihiro Hashimoto from Sendai Girls to come and fight in Stardom. So I'm not sure who that is, but if Syuri's challenging her, let's see it. I want to see it. But yeah,
Sure.
absolutely phenomenal match. Like, just I can't I can't do anything. I can't say anything better for one of the best shows I've watched this year,
Mhm.
and one of the best main events I think I've seen all year.
Agreed, agreed. It was an incredible way to end the year for sure for Stardom and for Julia especially.
Yeah. So before we go, I want to give a big shout out to Rogue Energy, where you can scan the QR code down in the bottom right corner of the screen and and use the code OLE order. Check them out; they're a great sponsor for us, and thanks to OLE Pods for being our partner. And you can check them out on Twitch at twitch.tv/OLE Pods, and on Instagram at OLE Podcast, or sorry, on Twitch at Our Local Establishment, and on Instagram at OLE Pods or Podcasts. I know there's a Facebook page. They're pretty big. They're going everywhere. And I want to give a big shout out to our friend, our good friend Mike the Ref from Backbreaker Media. Thank him for all the simulcasting he does. You can check him out on twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. Check him out on Backbreaker Video, Backbreaker Gaming. You might be watching us right now on Backbreaker Video. And if you are, please head over to Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk on YouTube and give us a follow. Check us out there. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And if you're wanting to watch Stardom, we will leave a link to that in the description box down below. It is stardom-world.com. It is 920 yen or $10 Canadian. Might be, I believe, $8 American because your dollar is usually better than ours. Still worth the deal to get some awesome female wrestling. And Andre, if we're wanting to follow you on social media, where are we going to find you?
We can see it down the bottom there. I'm on Twitter at that
Oh.
Canada guy. I'm on Instagram at that Canada dude, and you can find me on Facebook at Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk.
Ooh, you even got mine on there. Look at us
Oh yeah.
fancy pants. If you're wanting to follow a Melball on Twitter, you can find me at Collins Melball, or you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Melball Collins. And as Andre said, you can also find us on our Facebook fan page, Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk there. I think that actually brings us to the end of this amazing Stardom review of the Queendom show. If Andre doesn't have anything left to say there, that is,
I'm good to go. It's time
we're
to go home.
checking out. Awesome. Well, with that being said, I am your Melball. Shout out to Astrid. That is your Andre over there. We will see you next time. Adios.